Good morning to everybody. Lovely to have you here. I am so excited to be bringing this particular Facebook Live show to you today. This one is one of my absolute favorite topics, giving yourself permission to be successful. I have been doing this work for well over 3 decades, nearly 4. But who's counting? And this is the one thing that I find is just, what can I say? The one thing that I see people, women in particular, not so much men. I haven't seen it a lot with men, but I do see this a lot with women. Good morning, Debbie. Lovely to have you here. I hope you got in okay this morning, Debbie. Is it working and you can hear me? I hope. I know we've been struggling a little bit with Be Live on iPad, but I think it's all kind of cleared up now from what I can gather. But Debbie can just let me know if you can hear me. That would be great. So good morning, Elle. Lovely to see you here. Just a gorgeous morning, isn't it here? It feels like it's the last hurrah, the last hanging on to a little bit of summer. That's what the summer dress on this morning. I thought I could see that the weather's about to change this week, so I thought, let's get the summer dress out. Yes, I waited for you to say, oh, good. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So have you waited for me to start first? And that worked out better. Okay, cool. All right, good. Terrific. Lovely to have you here. Right, we're going to be talking about giving ourselves permission to succeed. What does that actually look like? And as I mentioned, this is what I'm seeing a lot of in my coaching. And you know, I have to admit, for a long time, this was where I was at as well. So, you know, much of my coaching that I do is stuff that I've been through myself. So this is about, you know, in a nutshell, it boils down to this kind of no holds bar, you know, really stepping into the success that you want to achieve for yourself. So what we're going to do today, I've got 6 things for you to look at that maybe something in there might resonate. Not all of it, of course, but you might find something that resonates for you if you feel like you're doing all the right things. You know, you're setting your goals, you're setting your intentions every day. You know, you've got the vision board happening, you've got the affirmations happening, you may be even tapping every day, and it just doesn't seem to be coming together. Let's see if there's maybe something about your own giving yourself permission. And this, you know, again, a lot of this happens in the subconscious, so you don't even know you're doing it. It's half the time. So let's look at some of the things that we're going to go through. So let's look, first of all, I want to share one of the things that comes up for many people. Morning, Michelle. Lovely to have you here. One of the things that comes up, and it's particularly relevant, got that word out, particularly relevant. I didn't do my voice exercises this morning. Particularly relevant. Jeepers. In Australia, and that is the tall poppy syndrome. Now, in Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, she quotes some great research where she talks about that women who are in a supportive role, so whether that be like a deputy leader, perhaps, you know, in the case of Hillary Clinton, where she was foreign secretary, those women often have very high popularity ratings. But the minute they step into the leadership role, suddenly their popularity will plummet. Now, when Hillary Clinton, for instance, was Secretary of State, her popularity was one of the highest ever for a foreign Secretary of State. And the minute she wanted to run for president, her popularity took a nosedive. Here in Australia, you know, the one thing that I always talk about is Julia Gillard. You know, whether you agree with her politics and all the other stuff or not, that when she was deputy leader, she was very popular. People really liked her. The minute she became leader, or whatever went on in the background, whatever, but the minute she became leader, all of a sudden she was fodder. People criticized her dress. People. Oh, no, the video started, Anne-Marie. Might have to just do a refresh. Everybody else is in, the video has started. So it might be just if you could do a refresh. It depends sometimes, I think, what you're on. So let's get back to Julia Gillard. The minute they did that, it was they started to criticize her dress sense. They criticized the fact that she wasn't married. They criticized her partner in, who is he, trying to be the, the first man, and there was ridicule. So the minute she stepped into the whole purpose of leadership, all of a sudden she was attacked from all aspects. So, when you want to be successful, if you've seen this, there's a part in our brain that doesn't want us to feel hurt. We know that part is in the amygdala. So and you want to step up and be wildly successful, there could be a part of you that feels, well, hang on a minute, am I going to be open to this tall poppy syndrome where people will be judging me? So we're going to look at that, and that leads me on to the next one, is the fear of judgment. It can be really powerful, this fear of judgment, and it can be really powerful to get to where that started. It can be back when teachers at school ridiculed you for saying something. You had an opinion. Kids picking on you in school because they didn't think you were cool enough. So this fear of judgment combined with the tall poppy syndrome that we have, particularly in this country, unfortunately, can be enough of a driver for you to go, whoa, wait a minute, why should I put myself out there? So have a look around that. Have a look around. Am I fearful of being judged? Am I fearful of being attacked because I'm successful? Check on those if there is you're holding you back on that permission to succeed. Number 3 is the fear of vulnerability. Brené Brown has done a lot of work in this work, and her book Brave in the Wilderness talks about this, that our vulnerability can make us feel exceptionally uncomfortable. And what I found in particular is when I'm working with women who want to be successful, who want to go up the next rank, who want to go up to the, put that extra zero on the end of their income for the year, or go up the next rank, or take the step up, or start their own business. It's this fear of vulnerability, because the thing is this, it doesn't matter who you are. All of us have stuff to deal with. As we become more successful, that stuff we haven't dealt with actually just becomes heightened. Whatever you've not dealt with will continue to come up. That's part of our life journey, is just learning the lessons. And so success can feel exceptionally vulnerable. I listened to a great podcast just recently, and it was a coach talking about, he works with some of the high income people. Not seeing anything. Debbie and Michelle and Elle, you can see, right? Can you just let me know if you can see? Just let Anne-Marie know that you can see. Not sure what's going on, Anne-Marie. Sometimes, as I said, it depends on what you're on. Ooh, technology. Sometimes you get a handle on it, and sometimes you just don't. It seems everything is okay from my end. Just having a look. I think it's still okay. Okay, so let's get back to the fear of vulnerability. Look at where, all good, both sound and viewing. Yeah, okay, thanks, Michelle. So Anne-Marie, maybe if you can log out and log back in. Remember, this is being recorded, so, yep, great, thanks, Elle. Yeah, they can see in here, so that's great. Yeah, Anne-Marie, if you want to log back, log in. Yeah, as Debbie was saying, go back and try again. Debbie, you had issues with that last week, I think. Yeah, sometimes it just on an iPad doesn't work. Some people find it better on their phones. Facebook. Anyhow, we all are being tech challenged at the moment. Holy moly. Right, vulnerability. The higher up you go, the more public it is for you to fail. For instance, if you're leading a team of people, if you're in and I know many people that I'm currently working with are in multi-level marketing teams, Once you start to go up that rank, you've got to start living what you're talking about. And that can be sort of fearful at times. That can be the thing that's holding you back. So just check around that. As I said, I'm giving you 6 today, and you might find something in here. Number 4 is fear of making the wrong decisions. Making a wrong decision and proving them right. This fear of making a wrong decision and based on what people have said to you in the past. Who do you think you are? What makes you think you're so special? Why don't you just be like everybody else? Why do you have to be somebody special? Why can't you just be happy, with a job and paying off the mortgage? And when you step out to want to truly be successful, that could be running in the back of your mind all the time. What if they're right? What if I don't get this right? And that can be enough to hold you in that box. I shared last week when we were talking about the soul stealers, about a woman that made my life hell in a previous job I was in. And I only actually now have absolute gratitude for her, what she did. At the time, I didn't want to push her off a cliff quietly. But now I have absolute gratitude for her, because what she did was push me out of my box that I put myself in, because I was fearful. I was fearful of doing what I love to do, because what if I'd got it wrong and they proved right? But she pushed me, and she pushed me right out of that box. So I do have absolute gratitude for her now. So look at where you have fear of making the wrong decision and proving other people right. Sit with that. Number 5, I'm very aware of time today, because I want to do a really good tapping session at the end of this session. So I'm really conscious of time. Fear that if we actually express what we love, that we might fail at it, and that would be too painful. I have mentioned this a lot of times when I'm coaching with my clients. I remember an interview many years ago with Dr. John Gray, Men from Mars, Women from Venus. You might remember that book. And he was being interviewed on Oprah Winfrey, and he was talking about how long it took him to take the book from writing to publishing and releasing. And she asked him why, because it was such a good book and it just, it took off. It was, you remember, kind of in the 90s, it was almost like the Bible for many of us trying to figure out our relationships. And he said, this I knew was my life's work. And if I failed at this would have destroyed me. So he said, I had to get myself to a point where I was confident enough in myself that I was not carrying any of the baggage in order to release that. Because he said, if I was, an accountant, and I'd written a book about accounting, and that really wasn't my life's purpose, and the book was released and it wasn't that successful, it wouldn't be so bad. But because I knew this was my life's work, and because I knew this was so important, if I failed at it, that could be too painful. So where are you in doing something now you absolutely love? Is your soul's purpose. This is what you're supposed to be doing. But there's this fear around it. What if I fail at it? Sometimes it's just easier to stay in that box and not give yourself permission to shine. I wanted a quote from the poem Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's not our light. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. So that permission to succeed, all wrapped up in feeling that fear around what if I fail at it. And the last one, before we move on to the habits, is check around, if you are successful, how will it make other people feel? Often we have this inbuilt radar that what if I'm successful? Will it make other people feel bad? Will they want money from me? Here's one. But will I feel ostracized and not able to fit in? We have these units that we have, and that saying, I think it was Jack Canfield, our net worth is determined by our network. If you're hanging around people who love misery, or victimhood, or have that kind of woe is me, why don't we all just be normal and don't sink the ship. There could be a part of you as a caring, compassionate individual that if I'm successful, what does it mean to them? How will that make me feel? How will it make them feel? And that can be enough to not step out of that family vow or that friendship group. And I know in my case, I had to release some friends because they didn't want me to change. And that wasn't about them, that was about me. So looking at how will I make other people feel if I give myself permission to be successful? What will I talk about at the family barbecue? You know, will it make people feel uncomfortable around me? Just check. Many times highly sensitive people do this. They pick up on other people's energy, and there can be a lot of compassion that's kind of directed in the wrong direction. So just check around that. So I've given you 6 today. See if any of these, and let me know actually, are any of them resonating? 1, not giving yourself permission to succeed. Is it the tall poppy syndrome? Are you worried about being cut down by others? And I would also ask how often you do that yourself. So sometimes we subconsciously, have this way of cutting other people down. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of judgment. And again, I ask this question again. If you're fearful of being judged, where in your life are you judging others? Remember, this is, you reflect out how you feel. Change happens through you, not to you. So if you are judging others, catch yourself. There's a particular weather person we watch, woman, and sometimes her dress sense isn't so good. And one day we kind of watch it, and every now and then we go, oh, what's she wearing today? Oh my goodness, da da da. And I realized that I was judging her on her dress sense. And we don't judge men; they wear suit and tie. But we judge very quickly, and I stopped that immediately. To send her. Obviously, she thinks she looks wonderful, and that's her. It's the way she dresses. It's got nothing to do with me. Not going to make any difference in my life. But where we quickly judge. In fact, catch yourself today, and this next week. Where do I judge? And where's the fearfulness for me in judging? Fear of expressing in case you fail. And number 6 is, how will it make you feel? So let me know if any of those resonate with you. And I'm going to talk now a little bit about habits. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. I have a special download today, again, for you, a questionnaire, self-assessment. You get away from here without doing some work. That's right. I'm a teacher, really. This is I have a free download this week. And it's in the comments, and it's also here for finding out where are you not giving yourself permission to succeed. So, a lot of this is self-reflection. It's a lot of figuring it out for yourself. Where did that go? There it is. So if you download that, click on the link down like that, there is a self-assessment questionnaire and a tapping script again that you can modify for yourself. And you can, where are we going here? And really, you remember, all of this is about you figuring out what works for you. So if any of that has resonated with you today, just let me know any points, and we are going to move in to the tapping. I'm aware of the time. I like to finish right on time because I know people have got stuff to do, and I know for my friends in England, it's always quite late at night by the time they're watching this. So and a couple of them watch it when they wake up in the morning on their Saturday morning. So I'm very aware of the time for you. We're going to finish right on top of the hour. So let me know if any of that resonated with you. Tall poppy, judgment, fear of vulnerability, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of if it's my life's work and it's wrong, what happens? I just want to read the last bit of this poem I'm going to leave you with. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within you. And this one thing, and I think this is really important for those who are team leaders, those of you who are stepping up into the role of team leaders, those of you who want to really embrace coaching, or even those, for just leading your family. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that poem. I have that greatest fear, in my office whenever I have moments of doubt. So download that if you can, Our Greatest Fear by Marianne Williamson. It is by Marianne Williamson, by the way, not Nelson Mandela, which is a little bit of an urban myth, but it actually is from her book, from Course in Miracles and Return to Love. The one that I want to finish with too, is our habits. And I was interviewed a lot this week on habits and how our habits lead us to success. And I want to just share this with you. One of the habits that can really inhibit your permission to give yourself success is actually scrolling through social media first thing in the morning. And this is why. When you go from sleep state to awake state, the brain waves come out of theta into alpha waves. That alpha wave brain is the optimal time for the mind to create success. It heightens your imagination, your visualization, your memory, your learning, and your concentration. So what you do, and the theme of all the interviews I did this week was amazing. The press went nuts over this. What you do in the first 20 minutes, but I like to stretch it out to an hour, is that what you do, the habit you have in the first thing in the morning, is if you reach for your phone and look at social media, if you turn on the TV and watch morning news, that takes away that beautiful time you have in the morning to be at your utmost for creating success, because you're alpha waves, remember. In fact, my husband said to me, that's why you have all your good ideas in the shower. Because the alpha brain waves are at your ultimate. So your habits in the morning can also be impacting on your permission to give yourself success. If you're scrolling through your social media, seeing what other people are doing, being, it just goes straight in there. It's in that subconscious part. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be like that. How will I ever look like that? I'm not working hard enough. How dare I? Who would I? All that stuff. And if you listen to the news, man, it's negative. Don't start your day off with the news unless you're in the news, unless it's your job. But be very, 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 very mindful of that first 20 minutes of your day, how you're spending it. I've actually made a commitment to myself that I'm no longer looking at any phone or screen in bed at all. No, I'd gotten into the habit of, taking my little Surface to bed and watching movies. Netflix girl. I'm not going to do that anymore. I have my books by my bed now. I'm very mindful of that. Ariana Huffington talks about that. The stuff you have in your bedroom impacts on your sleep. So challenge yourself this week. Alrighty, let's look at a tapping script. We're going to finish with this. We have 2 minutes. I have no idea where I'm. Time. Right, we've got a couple of minutes to go. All right, I want you to choose one of those topics that particularly resonates with you. In the download, you'll see how that all works. And of course, now with the new I am statements that I'm adding, which are so powerful. For those who are on this call, maybe haven't done tapping, you can check on my website or anywhere here on my Facebook page how to do tapping, what it's all about, and you can have a look at some excerpts of my book, Tapping to Reclaim You. All right. So I want you to look at some of these things. What is it with you? And listen, I'm going to go with fear of judgment. So if you want to choose anything that you want, but I'm going to go with fear of judgment, and we're going to see where it picked it up. And I'm going to use that time the teacher at school ridiculed me in front of the others. Okay. Again, this is very much for you. Okay, here we go. Even though I have this fear of judgment, and I know it's holding me back from giving me permission to succeed. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I have this huge fear of judgment, it's about a level 8, and it sits deep in my stomach. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I have this strong fear of judgment, and I think it started that day that teacher ridiculed me in front of the class, and it made me feel so small. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Here we go. My fear of judgment. I hate being judged. I remember when I was in school, when she ridiculed me in front of the class, and it made me feel so small. My fear of judgment. Feeling this fear of judgment. I hate being judged. What if I'm judged? What if I succeed and I'm judged? That time in school when I felt so small. This fear of judgment. I don't want to feel small. Maybe if I'm successful, they'll judge me. I remember that feeling, this fear of being judged. Okay, just take a deep breath and let it go. See how that is now. Go back and check on whatever you tapped on, and just see if that's come down. We're going to go into a reframe, but as I said, I say this all the time, do not go into a reframe until you've cleared this. And whatever you've chosen, you will probably feel it come up for you. You'll go, oh, that's why. That's what we're looking for. As we tap, lower those levels of cortisol so the memory starts to come to you. All right, let's do a reframe. So we're going to go into the I am statements. Even though I had this strong fear of being judged, I choose now to give myself permission to succeed. Even though I know that fear of judgment was holding me back, I choose now to let my light shine brilliantly. Even though I know that this fear of judgment was holding me back, I choose to give myself permission to succeed. Here we go. I choose to give myself permission to succeed. I choose to shine my light brilliantly. I choose to believe I am powerful beyond measure. I choose to give myself permission to succeed. I forgive all those people in the past who held me back. I'm grateful for the lessons and I choose to move on. I choose to give myself permission to succeed. I choose to be brilliant. Okay, take a deep breath. Now from those, find 2, 3, or 4 I am statements that you will work on. Remember, we're doing the power pose. So that's the Amy Cuddy power pose. Hands on the hips, 2 minutes a day. increases your testosterone, gives you more confidence, decreases your stress so you can think more clearly. I am successful. I allow my light to shine brilliantly. I am powerful beyond measure. I am stepping into my soul's purpose. So find the I am statements. Remember the words that follow I am, follow you. Find the I am statements that go along with that and use those for this week. Okay, once again, the questionnaire is there for you to download, and that will give you, so I've created that questionnaire this week, a self-assessment, to give you real clarity into what's holding you back. You know, everything we do is general on this show. It's really the inner work. It's really your own inner work, and you finding what it is that's holding you back. And I want to go on a bit of a rant before I finish. The thing that breaks my heart most of all is women who do not own their success. Our world is in a whole heap of trouble at the moment, and big institutions that have been causing pain for so many people are coming apart. Look at the Banking Royal Commission in Australia, the Sexual Abuse Royal Commission. It's really important, I believe, thanks, Elle, for us to stand up, authentic, heart-centered, powerful, focused women. It is our time. We have to be the leaders here for the young girls coming up behind us. Because as they're watching this old third-dimensional stuff crumble, and it's our sons as well, and we're watching this crumble, we have to show them the way it's supposed to be, and it's got to come from us. And I am just working on myself like crazy at the moment, working on myself, because as my children get older, I have to be more of who I am, because they can get really caught up in stuff. So my daughter, for one, had a bit of an issue this week with a woman that she was working with, and I had to be very mindful. She's 30 years old. She's an adult. I had to be very mindful of not giving her advice, but allowing her the opportunity to create her own reality. I have to be very mindful when I'm speaking to her. She's got a very good job. I have to be very mindful of what I'm helping her create, opening up her belief in herself. I'm so mindful of everything I tell my kids now, because I don't live at home anymore, so we don't have to argue about dirty towels on the bathroom floor and who left the kitchen. Messy. They have to argue with their own roommates with that. And my husband, big time. And how we live our lives is what they're watching. So I invite you to look at the mentees in your life, whether that be your children, whether that be your co-workers, whether that be members of your team, whoever it is. If you're asking them to do something and you're not doing it, that age is over. The age of inauthenticness is over. We're seeing it. Now is the age of heart-centered authenticity. And we as a collective group of women, do not serve anybody by playing small. And I know for many of you who are on this show every week, you are being called. You know that. I mean, you already know that. So I really want to inspire you, I guess, for all of us on this journey. And, I still tap every day. I meditate every day. I work out every day. That hour for me is so precious. I'm working on my own stuff big time all the time. Stuff comes from me all the time. So I don't have it together. I'm just maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of some other people. But it's that constant working on ourselves. So it is absolutely my absolute pleasure that you join me each Saturday. I love my regulars, and I love the fact that you join me. Have a wonderful week. Wonderful, wonderful week. Be the inspiration. Be the guide. And we only do that by working on ourselves. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to have a very special, it'll be Mother's Day next week. We're going to have a special Mother's Day topic. All right, my wonderful friends, live your absolute brilliant life this week, and we will see you this time next week. Remember to download that questionnaire. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.